morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2018 Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl, the day before press conference. We have several parts for a press conference this morning. First, we are joined by some dignitaries from the Bahamas Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Culture and the mayor of Elk Grove Village. The second part, we will have the head coach and student athletes from Toledo. The third part will be Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl executives and also represented from the Ministry of Tourism. And then our final group will be the head coach and student athletes from FIU. And then Ed Smith, our honorary ambassador for 2018, will close out the press conference, and we should be about an hour here to 12 o'clock. At 11:30, the coaches will line up to shake hands with the championship trophy here in front of the backdrop. So we'll get that sort of across before we start the second half of the press conference. So real quick, to my left is Richard Giannini, the Executive Director of the Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl. The Honorable Lanisha Roll, the Minister of Youth, Sports, and Culture. And the Mayor of Elk Grove Village, Craig Johnson. So at this time, I want to introduce the Executive Director of the Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl, Mr. Richard Giannini.
Thanks, Chris. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Great to hear you and have you here today. We're so excited on behalf of ESPN and the Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl to be in our 5th year of sponsoring this football game. We've had great success the first 4 years, and we're anticipating that this year will be the best ever game, and we're just pleased to have our friends from the United States, the University of Toledo, and from Miami, of course, Florida International University. So we think we've got a great group of student athletes here to really show everyone in the Bahamas what the sport of American football is all about. And we thank the Bahamians, Minister Roll, we thank you, and we thank the participants. We've got the Bahamas All-Star Band, youth band will present the pregame. We have Junkanoo Band between the first and second quarter. And at halftime, we've got the Royal Police Band, so we're really excited to have the Bahamian flavor as part of the football game, and we appreciate the partnership, and it's great to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate that. Someone new to the Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl family is the Honorable Lanisha Roll, who's the Minister of Youth, Sports, and Culture, which oversees this great stadium and our setup here, and we're honored to have her here today. Minister Roll.
Thank you, Chris, and good morning to everyone. Mr. Mayor Johnson, and to Executive Director of Bahamas Bowl, Mr. Richard Giannini, Senior Vice President of Events, Programming and Events, ESPN, Pete Dersey, Mid-American Conference Commissioner, Dr. John Steinbrecher, members of the Ministry of Tourism, and representatives of the Ministry of Sports, in particular the Director of Sports, Mr. Timothy Munnings, who is here with us, Mr. Ed Smith, members of the press, good morning. Today we are here on the eve of what will undoubtedly be another fantastic college football game here in the Bahamas. The Florida International University Panthers and the Toledo Rockets will square off tomorrow in its highly anticipated matchup. The government of the Bahamas is grateful to the organizers of the bowl game, now in its 5th year, for demonstrating its commitment to ensuring that all Bahamians and visitors alike experience a first-class football game here in our stadium. Moreover, we are grateful to receive on a number of fronts the economic impact and benefit of this joint initiative between this international sporting institution, the Ministry of Tourism, and ancillaries of the Ministry of Sports, including our local federation and the Ministry of Sports National Sports Authority. I wish also to express our gratitude to ESPN for its partnership in televising this game throughout North America, thereby providing additional exposure of our multifaceted tourism product to our neighbors in the north. I wish also to express our thanks and gratitude to Makers Wanted for their investment as title sponsor for this event, and recognizing the multiple rewards to be reaped from building that connection between the Bahamas' local tourism and their international sports platform. I am advised that the one-day football youth camp hosted yesterday was very, very well attended, and provided our youth with opportunities to learn about the game of football and the opportunities available to them to play the game at a professional level or as part of our sporting programs for youth engagement and recreation. In the short term, it is our hope that through this outreach program, scholarship opportunities, internships, or otherwise would have been identified. I am also pleased as the Minister of Sports to hear of your gracious gesture to honor our Mr. Ed Smith, the first Bahamian to be drafted into the NFL, to serve as your honorary ambassador for the 2018 Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl. Mr. Smith would have opened the doors for the other Bahamians now playing in the league. I am also advised that my colleague, the Minister of Education, has been both most receptive to this initiative, and so has the Ministry of Sports, particularly through our National Sports Authority. And I encourage the support of as many to take advantage of what I term a wonderful opportunity for the Panthers and Rockets to display their best performances while experiencing our sun, our sand, our sea, and our tropical climate, and while creating high-level exposure for our local sporting community and young aspiring athletes. Ladies and gentlemen, I say to one and all, as we say here in the Bahamas, I encourage as many to be here or be square. Tomorrow, the 21st of December, 2018, at 12 noon, right here at the Thomas A. Robinson Stadium, as we kick off the Makers Wanted 2018 Bahamas Bowl football game here in the beautiful city of Nassau, Bahamas. I thank you very much.
Minister Roll, thank you very much for those kind words, and we're glad that you're with us today. Next is another newcomer and a tremendous person. We've gotten to know him here over the last few days. Since its incorporation in 1956, Elk Grove Village has experienced tremendous growth and economic prosperity, characterizing the diversity and stability of its inhabitants. The Makers Wanted campaign was launched in 2015 to generate brand awareness of Elk Grove's business-friendly practices and to attract more businesses to move to Elk Grove. The gentleman who has been behind that effort and the growth of the area and Makers Wanted is the mayor of Elk Grove Village, Mayor Craig Johnson.
Thank you very much. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, why is Elk Grove Village here in the Bahamas? Well, when we wanted to get our message out about our community, and we wanted to send the message worldwide, we thought there's no better way to do it than the beloved sport of college football. And we thought there's no better partner than ESPN, and no better location, and I know that for a fact now, after being here for several days, than the Bahamas. That is a place to be for anything, but also now for college football. So we're extremely excited to be part of this gathering. Richard has done a phenomenal job. The teams, you couldn't get better than Florida National against Toledo. Both outstanding teams, outstanding coaches, and what a better way to market an outstanding community like Elk Grove, but than to be here at the Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl. And we appreciate the friendliness, the kindness of your country and your residents, and I think we'll be here for a long time to come also. So thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. We'll take a short break, and we will take some photos with Minister Roll, and then we'll get Toledo head coach student athletes in the room. We have with us the representative from the Mid-American Conference, the Toledo Rockets. And I want to recognize, before we get started with coach and players, two people. Their athletic director, Mr. Mike O'Brien, is here, and the deputy commissioner of the Mid-American Conference, Bob Generelli, is also here, and we appreciate them and their friendship to the bowl game, not only this year but through our entire history. Thank you, guys. Right now we have head coach of the Toledo Rockets, Jason Candle, and two student athletes, Richard Olekama and Cody Thompson. Richard's a linebacker and Cody's a wide receiver. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Coach for some opening comments.
Thanks, Chris. On behalf of our university and our athletic department and certainly the whole city of Toledo, we just want to say we appreciate all the hospitality that's been given to us this week, and it's been a tremendous opportunity for our young people to get out of the country and go see a wonderful place. And so many people put their hand in this thing to make it go and for it to be successful. And just take a second to recognize Richard Giannini, Lee Miller, our title sponsors, Makers Wanted, Elk Grove Village, ESPN, Atlantis Resort. Oh my gosh, what a place, and how great they've been to us. Our host, Ohima, Josh, what a great, the hospitality you guys have shown all week has been second to none. They've really made our team feel welcome, and I know our kids are feeling the love that this island provides, and we're looking forward to playing a great game this week against a tremendous opponent. And hopefully, we can bring some other things out of this game than maybe just hopefully getting a win, but give this crew down here a good, clear picture of maybe an opportunity and some hope of what sport can provide for young people, and not only from an athletic standpoint but an educational standpoint. So we're certainly excited to come down and compete for the Prime Minister's Trophy and to be a part of your great game, and really, again, appreciate the hospitality you guys have shown to us with open arms.
Before we get started with the regular questions, I want to ask you, Coach, and your players, what's been the best part of this week, is coming here for the first time to the Bahamas?
Well, I think for me, it's, the guys will have probably a little different opinion on it, but for me, it's just to watch our young people have the experience that a bowl game provides. And, it's really cool to take your team someplace that, maybe guys otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to go see. And I think it's a really special thing when you have a chance to do that out of the country. And our guys, it's been fun to watch them embrace that. It's been fun to watch them use their platform to give more than they take, and to be really good model citizens. And I really appreciate that about our football team.
Richard?
I'll say just being in a beautiful place like this, it's been an incredible experience, and we're all really excited and grateful to be here.
For me, probably aside from the weather, some of the amazing food, I've definitely been taking it all in. The first time I had conch, I think is how you say it, so I'm going to have to find a place up in Ohio where I can get some of that, because I never had that before, but that's delicious.
All right, we'll open it up to questions for Coach and our student athletes.
Jason, given the fact that this is your fourth bowl game as head coach of UT, what type of learning have you received that you apply to this game and the next bowl game?
No, I think you're always learning about who you are as a coach. I think you're always learning about your football team. I said this the other day. I think great coaches not only have the ability to pay attention and learn from their own mistakes and their own successes, but they also, take the valuable lessons that good players can teach them. And I got two great seniors right here to my left, and a good group of guys that, we're going really hard to play really well tomorrow and send these guys out with the right feeling, the feeling they deserve the last time they get a chance to wear the midnight blue and gold uniform that I know has been so special to them.
Jason, this final day of preparation, what did you want to get in and get done here on this final day before the game?
Well, I think we're still, you're trying to obviously get acclimated to the heat. We're a little bit of a different group in the sense that we walked through yesterday and we practiced today and go for about 35 plays and run and get used to the footing. We haven't played a game on grass since last year when we played down at Miami. So to get our guys out, run around on the grass and get acclimated to that and really just, again, continue to enjoy the time that we have together, because this crew's never going to be together again after tomorrow.
Jason, their quarterback, learning is obviously someone you're familiar with from time to ball game. What does he kind of bring to FIU now, and what do you remember from that?
Well, you have a lot of respect for a guy that can change situations and have such an immediate impact. I think that's a really difficult thing to do in sports. You go and you're part of a team and a part of an organization, and you uproot yourself and you leave. I think that can be an uneasy feeling in a lot of different ways, but hats off to him. He looks like he's handled it phenomenally, and As far as the skills as a passer, I think his statistics would probably speak to that more than anything. But I see him on videotape hitting the hands of the receivers on a consistent level, making really good decisions with the football, and putting his team in a chance to, in position to be successful, which they've been able to do. And that's how you get to the postseason play.
Coaches, can you kind of, as a senior, who's been around for 5 years, last year you guys came out flat, got shut out, but can you gain a sense because of your leadership to know what type of team is going to show up on game day?
Yeah, I think that's just a testament to the upperclassmen, the seniors that have done it before, and knowing kind of what worked and what didn't work last year or the previous years. You just got to know, I mean, coming down to a place like this, it's not a lot of guys have been here or experienced something like this. You just got to know the cutoff between work and play. And when we step in between those lines for practice or walkthroughs, the guys are locked in and flying around and making plays. And I think that's the biggest thing, is just to kind of transition that going into the game on Friday. And I think we've done a great job of handling that and being prepared all week.
Richard, fifth-year senior, you feel like this is kind of a nice reward for kind of having a good career, able to win, mean for you going out?
Oh, it would mean everything. We all worked really hard this season, and to come to a place like this, it's been incredible. But it'll always be better if you win at the end. If we lose, you'll have a sour taste in your mouth, and you won't like the trip as much. But if you win, it'll be the best trip of our lives, and we'll remember it forever.
Jason, when you take a look at FIU, is there something that sticks out that's most impressive that you're out there?
Well, I think you're dealing with a team that's built primarily with guys from the state of Florida and South Florida, and the stereotype has always been team speed, and that's very evident on videotape. When you watch the tape, I mean, they can run at every position. They're a physical group on defense. They tackle with their shoulder pads. They put their face on you and get guys on the ground. On the offensive side of the ball, we talked about the quarterback a little bit. I think his ability to move the offense has been something that you really pay attention to, and it's aided by a really good running game. They've done a good job up front. They got a couple backs that can put their foot in the ground and go north and south, and then they can threaten you on the perimeter with the receivers. So, it's a complete team. And you obviously, a game like this, you always are concerned about things that can happen or maybe things that don't happen in the kicking game. So, certainly a team that has a lot of our attention, certainly, and a lot of our respect. Coach Davis has been doing this for a long time, and it's a very storied career, and he's got a great staff that's got those guys in a position to be successful.
Richard, when you look at their offense, what do you feel like are kind of the keys to their defense and slow them down?
They have a really fast, explosive offense. Their quarterback, as Coach said, is really good. We have to do a good job of making him uncomfortable, and we have to shut down the run. And I think if we do that, we'll have a really good day.
Guys, thank you very much. We'll have both coaches and the trophies here momentarily.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, we'll continue with our press conference, and we are honored to be joined today by Tommy Thompson, who's the Deputy Director General of the Ministry of Tourism and Aviation. The Ministry of Tourism has been a partner with us since day one, and they've been tremendous with us on several areas, and we're very thankful for their friendship and their assistance for our bowl game for all 5 years. And with that, I'd like to introduce Mr. Thompson, Deputy Director General of the Ministry of Tourism and Aviation.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Members of the press, the Mayor of Elk Grove, Mr. Craig Johnson, representatives of the 2018 Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl organization, the two great coaches of American football, Coach Butch Johnson of the FIU Panthers, and Coach Jason Kendall of the Toledo Rockets. Invite guests, good afternoon and welcome to the islands of the Bahamas. As has been mentioned, this is the fifth Bahamas Bowl, and we are delighted that we've got two great teams, Toledo and FIU. And the Bahamas is a big Florida market, so, not that we're partial or anything, but it's going to be a great game. As Ministry of Tourism, we're just very delighted to be hosting this bowl, and the coverage that we're going to get in the United States is going to be really great. As you understand, you've got some bad weather coming through the U.S., so that's always good for us. So we just wanted to welcome everybody to the islands of the Bahamas and to this bowl game. The first one is actually very exciting that they had in the Bahamas. It actually made the top 10 of the plays of the year. So hopefully we'll have something like that again. It's just a delight to have everybody here in the islands of the Bahamas, and welcome, and hope you enjoy yourselves. The teams have had a great time enjoying the islands of the Bahamas, but tomorrow is football day. It's down to business, so may the best team win. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. We appreciate that very much. And we'll take a short break, and then we'll bring FIU's coach, the student athletes, in. All right, we are joined by the representative for Conference USA, the FIU Panthers, and their head coach, Butch Davis, offensive guard, Jordan Budwig, and defensive tackle, Anthony Johnson. And before we get started with them, I'd like to recognize their athletic director, Mr. Pete Garcia, and the conference representative for CUSA, Russ Anderson, the assistant commissioner. We thank them for being here today and thank them for their friendship for the bowl for the entire 5 years. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Coach Davis for an opening statement.
Yeah. First of all, it's a great honor to be here. Our players are super excited. I think absolutely everybody associated with FIU, from President Mark Rosenberg, obviously Pete Garcia, the athletic director, our student body, our band, got off the plane today. They're marching around the hotel, and I think everybody's very, very excited to be in the Bahamas. The hospitality has been remarkable. Everything about it, you couldn't ask about going to a bowl game and be in a better location than the Atlantis Hotel. I mean, it's absolutely spectacular. The hospitality's been great. Practices have been good. The weather's spectacular, and I think everybody in our program is super excited about being here.
All right, as we did with Toledo earlier, I want to throw it out to Coach and our student athletes about what the best part of the week here in the Bahamas has been for you guys.
I'll let Anthony go first.
Oh, man. I guess I'd have to say, just the experience of being over at the Atlantis, being able to see different things. I think one of my favorite things, the other day we got to experience, swimming and hanging around dolphins and things. So that was probably my best experience.
Jordan?
Yeah, we got to do the dolphin experience, and that was a lot of fun. Personally, the opening night dinner, being able to experience all those different Bohemian dishes. As a big guy, that's one of my favorite things. Some good food, and it was definitely that.
Absolutely. And I think probably for me, it's getting to see our players have an opportunity to experience this wonderful opportunity of going to a bowl game. Last year was our first bowl game in several years, and this year, I mean, you couldn't hardly beat it. When we made the announcement that we were going to come to the Bahamas, I mean, the room just exploded. Everybody was excited. Guys were cheering, really happy. And so me seeing them get a chance to experience this culture and the hospitality has been really good.
All right, let's open up to questions for Coach and our student athletes.
Coach, do you anticipate James Morgan starting tomorrow?
Now, James will not play in the game tomorrow. In our last game against Marshall, he suffered a small injury in the tricep of his muscle. I think if the bowl game was maybe another week or 10 days, I think he would have been, he's very, very close. I mean, you could have said it was a game time decision, but to protect him and to make sure, his future as a quarterback, we didn't want to take the risk, and so he is not going to play in the game tomorrow.
And then just watching Toledo on film, I know
Yep.
you guys have faced them in the bowl game in the past decade, but still, what stands out to them on this year's team to look at?
Yeah, I think one of the things, obviously, that's very apparent is the fact that they're very talented in all three phases. I mean, sometimes when you get prepared to play a game, you look at somebody and they're just really, really good, maybe in offense, okay in one phase, and maybe good at the other phase. But when you watch them, they're explosive, they're fast on offense, they have big play capability. That part's very obvious. Their front seven defensively, they've got very good defensive ends that put pressure on the quarterbacks. They've got very good returners in the special teams and the kicking game. So Jason and his staff have done a very, very good job of building that Toledo football team that, you better be prepared to play well in all three phases.
And last one, just to follow up on James not starting, who then stepped into the backup,
Yeah.
and your thoughts and
Sure.
comments in here?
Yeah, well, Christian Alexander's going to start the game for us and play, and we kind of went through a similar situation last year. Alex Magoo, who's the starting quarterback that was drafted by the Seattle Seahawks, got injured in the bowl game last year on play number 2. And we learned an unbelievably valuable lesson in the sense that we really truly weren't as prepared as you would like to have been for your backup quarterback. So one of the objectives during our entire season and especially during training camp was to make sure that the backup quarterback was prepared to play and step in at any moment, because you never know when one of them, it could be week 1, much less week 12. And so during the first half of the season, Christian played in just about every single game. He played at the end of the game a couple of times against UTSA. He was the starting quarterback for us during the entire spring. So all 15 practices, because James had not transferred at that time. So he had the opportunity to be the number 1 quarterback, and then we alternated him pretty significantly during training camp during August. So we felt like that we were significantly much better prepared, for the backup quarterback to step in and to play well tomorrow in the game.
Anthony, just talk about, like, in the trenches, it's a high-powered offense you're going against. What do you guys have to do to stop Toledo?
The main thing that we're focused on is stopping the run, as always. They have a great up front. They're all big. They're all physical. So the main thing that we got to focus on this week is stopping the run and getting pressure on the quarterback.
With backup quarterback, with the extra practices, what is your offensive line doing to be able to help them do better in this game?
Well, like Coach Davis said, Christian's been a part of this program and was the leader of our offense in spring. So, as an offense, not much changes. He's ready to step into that role. He's been in that role multiple times throughout the season. And, when James went down in the Marshall game, he stepped in, led us on a touchdown drive. So we're not really worried about Christian. We're going to continue to do what we do. And, go out there and play well. I mean, we were able to practice on our grass field. We have grass and turf at our practice facility, so been able to get used to that during our bowl preparation. We played a few times this year on grass as well.
Jordan, how do you balance between having fun at the activities but still focusing on football?
Yeah, you know, that's something Coach hit on a lot during our bowl preparation. Last year was our first bowl game in a while, Gasparilla Bowl, and we had a great time. But you know, we really wanted to focus on coming down and being prepared to win this game. So Paradise is a lot of fun, and you know, we're kind of used to being around the beach and pool and stuff like that. It's not very new to us, so we're focused on winning this game 100%.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you all very much. I'd like to say one thing, too, to Craig back there in the back. Craig, phenomenal job supporting this deal, and everything that you've done to help make this happen is spectacular. And this is one of the greatest experiences that any college football team across the country would love to be here, part of this bowl game. And thank you very much, Craig. Yep. Done? Okay. Is Tommy here? Tommy.
I know he's been mentioned a few times already this morning, but we are honored to have Ed Smith, who was a college All-American and the first native Bahamian drafted by an NFL club. He played 2 seasons with the Broncos, and we are honored to have him as our 2018 Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl honorary ambassador. We've gotten to know Ed here over the last few months, and he has a tremendous message, not only about his football experience, but also what it means to the youth of the Bahamas and what the future is going forward. So with that, I introduce Ed Smith.
Thank you, Chris. It's what an honor, what a great privilege it is to be here in the Bahamas, back home, and to be recognized and honored as the honorary ambassador for this very great, exciting event. I don't know about you, but sitting here and hearing all the coaches and the athletes talk, I'm ready to put on the pads and say, let's go a couple of rounds. I might be able to do 1 or 2, but get 1 or 2 plays in. But football, as you know, is a very exciting game, and it's something that I enjoy doing. However long it was, it's something that I appreciated the time and what it has done for me and my family. Not only did I get to play, but my son got to play also at the collegiate levels at Stanford, as well as playing professionally for 11 years. So it's a pleasure to be here and just helping out, seeing the excitement that it brings to the Bahamas, the kids, the exposure that they can can learn from this game, and some of them can also aspire to getting more involved with this, because football is a great teaching tool in life. And not only can it bring forth a livelihood for them sometime in the future, but just affording them the ability to get an education through scholarships by playing the game of football. So I'm very excited about being here and meeting Richard and Lee and all the folks. You know, I had a chance to meet Craig, and the great opportunity that Makers Wanted stepping in to support this great organization, ESPN, and I've had many friends working there. So I'm just honored to be here, and hopefully I'll be a part of this in some capacity, helping out with the kids for years to come. Okay?
Ed, thank you very much. What I'd like to do is, if Mayor Johnson's in the back, I'd like to bring up the championship trophy with Ed and take a few pictures, and then we'll close out our press conference.